Welcome back, terrestrials. In this episode, we're doing 1988's Beetlejuice.
Right.
Again, the color scheme, you don't fucking see that. All right. So we're talking the OG Beetlejuice. Obviously, again, there's going to be a little bit of a comparison because obviously we have to. There, you can't talk with about one without the other. Now, um, Jerry, what do you grade this one?
I give
What
it
did
an
you get?
S.
An S. Okay, so you gave the other one a B minus, right?
I gave it a B.
I can't remember. Mike randomly just kept like grading as a okay. You gave it a
Right.
straight B. All right.
I gave it a B.
I
Maybe a
want to say
B
you gave it a
minus.
B.
Fuck if
I
I
think you gave it a B
Oh.
minus. All right. Um,
I give this
yeah.
one a S though.
Okay. I agree. This one's an S.
Yeah, of
I
course.
would be willing to go to a plus probably, but I'm going to stay with S. Um, again, like I said before, these ones are kind of like right there, but also this one is a little bit like nostalgia. And it's the original, so it all
Original.
lends to the favor of that.
All right.
Yeah. All right. So that's Beetlejuice, guys.
Yeah, I mean, like, what can we say about
Right,
Beetlejuice?
right, right.
Like,
Yeah, I mean,
what,
you've seen it, you
like,
know it, like
yeah, it is Tim Burton's greatest, like, original script. It's probably one of his best, where he has this
it's
unique
Michael
cons
Keaton's favorite film
yeah, he has
that he's
this
ever done, so
like extreme unique concept of like
for
what the
sure.
afterlife is and how to incorporate his art
Mhm.
and how to just be quirky.
Yeah,
And like so that covers everything on the Tim Burton side. But just the idea of like you can really describe this movie like in a sentence. It's like if someone asks you like what is Beetlejuice about, you just go like it's what happens when you die. Like that's
yeah, I
all this
mean,
movie really is. And it just happens to have like one of the greatest icon characters ever
for sure,
made,
for sure.
this this character Beetlejuice.
Yeah,
But it's two couple Maitlands, they die, and then they just figure out like, oh, this is what happens when you die. I mean, even the Miss
I
Argentina
will.
says that.
Yeah,
This is what
I will say one of the things for me is like, hey man, just read the fucking book. Like you keep not reading the book and it keeps causing problems for the Maitlands. Like
well, it reads like
just
stereo
read.
instructions.
Yeah, 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 apparently.
Like,
But still, if you have to keep like remember they said like 125 years you only get three what was it something 99s or something like with you get to sit down
with
with me like
Juno,
basically
yeah.
yeah. Um they used them all up within like no time
Yeah,
because they just wouldn't read the fucking book.
right.
Luckily, she was nice and she was like giving them freebies. She was like answering a couple questions at a time,
Yeah.
like,
Because they fucked
um,
up and they went with the Betelgeuse.
yeah,
Like,
Beetle,
bioexorcism and
yeah,
shit.
yeah,
And yeah, like last week you're like Beetlejuice isn't the bad guy. Maybe not in that Beetlejuice movie, but he's definitely the bad guy in this one. Like everything about him, like he
yeah.
almost kills like the Deets. He
Well, that's kind of the point.
he's
He's trying to get rid of
trying
them
to marry a
one way or
15
another, I
year
guess.
old,
That's definitely the
you
bad
know.
guy thing.
But
What are you,
like,
Anthony Kiedis?
yeah.
Um,
but but
but
but still, the Maitlands in this are like your push. So
mhm,
they're just trying to exist in this house, and then the
yeah,
Deets come along, and it pulls that story, you know, pulls that story.
yeah,
Like, why do you need help? They can't see you.
yeah,
Who gives a shit? You know, they were closed bodies. Like if you like watch the beginning of the movie and like Jane keeps coming, it's like, oh, you should really sell
Yeah,
this house. And
yeah. There's offers from some people up in New York.
yeah, yeah. And it is like,
It's clearly the deeds.
you
Yeah.
guys really should not be in that house. That house, it's not too big or anything. It's just you guys need to be somewhere where like you can go and do something. I mean, shit, fucking it takes you like 20 minutes to get into town to the Maitland store,
Yeah,
you know?
but some people don't like that shit.
Yeah, I
Like,
guess.
they don't need to be down the road from a shopping center or whatever. So, like, just because they're a young couple doesn't
Yeah.
mean that they need to be, in a happening town. It's not like they need bars or anything. Like, they don't need happy endings down the street. Like, they just need, like,
Right.
they
They just
clearly they felt like the simple life was better for them.
I
And he had
guess.
the whole attic to build that ridiculous thing,
Yeah.
that ridiculous model.
Yeah,
So
like they're already living like old folks in their 20s.
yeah, Gina Davis's outfits show you that.
Right, And like, okay, in the last episode, we talked about Delia
Mhm.
being the most the best thing in that.
Yeah,
And
she was
in
a
this
little
one,
turned down
mm,
compared to that one. Compared to that one,
sh-
she was like off the wall in the other one. This one, it was a little bit more subtle. It was a little bit more
right.
toned down. I'm not saying that she wasn't outrageous though.
And yeah, in Beetlejuice, she is full on like artiste,
Yeah, yeah,
In the first Beetlejuice, she has probably the most memorable lines, the most like, oh, not next to Beetlejuice, I should
right.
preference, but like there are so many
And Lydia
moments,
though.
huh?
And Lydia. I
Lydia,
myself am
yeah, I'll
strange
put
and
her at a
unusual.
close third, but the everything like this is my art and it is dangerous. And like
Yeah.
I remember seeing that as a kid, being like, how the fuck is it dangerous and shit? And then like I'm just like, oh, that's such a good title. Fucking this is my art and it's dangerous.
Hmm.
Um, but like that or the whole thing with uh like she's sleeping with Prince Valium tonight
Hmm.
and
That's
like
Lydia though.
yeah, but when they're in the ghost the death shrouds as they call them,
Yeah.
and they're like she's watching wrestling on television and
Yeah.
shit,
Yeah.
and they're just like moaning.
Yeah.
And she just like does that like half get up to turn the TV off, and it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, I've been there. I've been there. Fuck, ghosts could have been at my house too, and I'm just like, just turn the TV off. Um,
I think that this one laid really good groundwork for the new one personally.
yeah,
Because
yeah,
like in the other review I mentioned, like, man, I really loved the entranceway to the underworld, afterworld.
all right,
It's the same one, but the in the new one, it's colorful. It's like got the blinking lights. It's a little bit more extended. It was kind of like a roadmap to making this one.
mm-hmm,
So this one, the new one got like congested with storylines and stuff, but this one was like, can we? And
yeah,
then once they realized they could, they were like, okay, now let's ramp it up for the new one
right,
because it was like proof of concept for a lot of stuff.
yeah,
But in
and
the, yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say it's a cohesive story dealing with the Maitlands, just trying to
It's
understand
a
what's
it's a very
happened.
simple story,
Yeah, it's a
yes.
very simple story, and then things happen to them. But so Beetlejuice in this used properly,
Mhm.
and everything he says is memorable and amazing and looks great, My God, when I was a kid and I watched this movie, when Beetlejuice does the nice fucking model monologue,
Mhm.
lost it.
Yeah,
Lost it.
yeah.
Holy shit. That's so good
I do.
of
All right,
Michael
so
Keaton.
this is going to give me some hate. Uh, I I don't care for the Deo scene.
Boo.
Tim Burton
Boo this
also
man. Boo
Tim
this
Burton
man.
Tim Burton agrees with me.
I don't give a
He was
shit what
scared.
Tim Burton thinks.
Oh, okay, yeah,
Yeah.
just the guy who made the movie. But he was also scared that that movie or that wasn't going to be funny. I agree. It's not funny. It's entertaining, but it's not funny. I think that it like okay, so I don't mind the Deo scene so much now that I've seen it a bunch,
Right.
but in the second one, the throwing the voices thing is like a callback to the Deo scene
Correct.
when they're singing at the end with the wedding cake and stuff.
Hmm.
Beetlejuice playing the acoustic in the model where he's like singing to Lydia, uh, that was highly unnecessary too. So like I just don't need the music. Like Danny Elfman is so fucking good. Let him do the music. Stop doing other things. Like he's a genius. Let him work. I
It
don't
was,
need more
yeah,
music
it
than what
was
he's
just the
going to
lip
do.
syncing thing. Just the comical timing of, and especially because of what it represents. Okay, once more, the Maitlands are bad ghosts. They are shit haunters,
Yeah, they suck
you
at
know?
being a ghost, yes.
And so all they can think of, because once more, we're listening to uh that music in the beginning of the movie, you can hear them on the radio and
Yeah, yeah.
you know, but the what are we gonna do to scare them? What are we gonna do to scare them? Oh, I
Right.
know. Let's possess them to have a catchy dance number doing the calypso.
Well, that's the whole thing. It was kind of showing what Beetlejuice was capable of.
Right. Oh
Like,
no, that's
or
the
the
Maitlands.
well, the Maitlands are capable of.
Right.
But it doesn't, again, it amounts to nothing. Because even like Adelia's like, I didn't know I could sing like that. That's
Uh,
awesome. Like, then I just feel like they could have found a shorter way to go. We suck at ghosts.
uh,
Like, we
the
suck at
whole
haunted,
thing, fucking death shrouds, fucking the whole thing at the beginning where like they tore your faces right off in front of them.
Right.
It's like, oh yeah, they can't see us. My brain still went for years and years going, how did they get their body parts back together? How did they get their body parts back together? You know,
Yeah. Yeah,
but
because
back
didn't her head get cut off or something?
no, she ripped her face
Oh, right.
off in the oh look. Uh but and then Adam, she's like got the knife and holding his head and he's like, these people just deliver me from LL Bean.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. But back also to the Deo scene, what really is the cherry on top is when them damn hands rip out of the shrimp cocktail
Yeah.
and just like they're screaming and I don't know. It's just because it's so ingrained in me. Like literally, when I was
Well,
a
I think
kid,
that that's why I don't mind it. But in reality, if I
right,
saw it, just like I saw the cake in the rain at the end of Beetlejuice,
right.
I'm like, this isn't necessary.
The cake in the rain one though is very long. It's like it's a whole thing.
It felt the same way in Beetlejuice.
Deo's a very short one for, I mean, they only get like that song's a lot longer than that, but I think
I
they do the
believe you, but
whole like MacGuffin Park, you
yeah.
know, um, which uh last time we talked about that, I was like going through my head and I was like, that song sounds so familiar.
Mhm.
And I know I found it and stuff. And I was just like, where do I know this from my life though? And I'm like, is it in a movie somewhere else and it's the same, it's the parody version of Weird Al Yankovic doing Jurassic Park. And I went, oh, of course, it's Jurassic Park
Hmm.
is frightening in the dark, you know. But
Interesting. I
yeah,
didn't know that.
yeah.
I'll have to re-listen to that.
Da.
I got
Oh, you got
things.
more? You got more?
Yeah,
Because
so yeah, I think that killing off the Maitlands right off the beginning, I would have liked to have seen a conflict between the Maitlands and the Deets. outside of the Deets putting in anonymous, bids on the house. I would have liked to have seen them like show up, like sell us the house. No, we're not selling, that way there's a little bit of
Mm,
a grudge so that it feels natural when they dislike them and don't want them in the house. Like, we told you no, we're not going to, and then we died and you took the house anyways. That way
right.
it felt a little bit, it felt more because in reality, once the Maitlands know that they're dead, they should have no problem just handing the house over.
Right.
Um, because again, they're dead.
They're dead.
Or, just stay up in the attic or whatever the case is. So that I would have liked to have seen more. That way the characters all are intertwined and Lydia is like, oh, I know who they are. Like it would have helped the story along maybe a little bit faster.
Yeah.
Um,
You know those
but
people that used to live here? I think they're still here. Now they're
yeah,
dead.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
I see where you're coming from. I think it's just Tim Burton wanting to get the fire hot, where it's just
yeah,
like, here are the Maitlands and they're dead, like
yeah,
just like, oh, we know like little things here and there, and then they're dead, and we don't know how fast time travels or how long, like they've been
mhm.
in the house before the purchase of the house, and then that thing slams into the banister,
Well, they
and
do.
we're
We
in.
do kind of know because remember, Miss Argentina says, you've only been there for 90 days, or you've only been dead for 90 days, and you're already here using up your
Right.
form or like your first form or whatever. Um, but yeah, I mean, this one always will have a special place in my heart,
Yeah.
but I could very easily, if you were like, which one do you want to watch right now? I would be like, I'm good either way. Like either way, I'm good.
I'll
I
always go with the
I
first though.
I love them both.
Well, of course,
Especially because the newer one, like yeah, it's chaotic and all that, but like I'm starting to enjoy the chaos of it now that I've seen it like 9 times. Like
Yeah. The
I'm
original
starting
or
to
the
enjoy.
new?
Well, the original I've seen 1,000 times, but
Oh yeah.
the new one I've seen like 9 times.
Yeah.
So it's more comfortable, and the more I watch it, the more comfortable I get with it.
Yeah.
So it's becoming more like the original to me. It's becoming more familiar and more comforting. So
Yeah. And it's like it has that like Ghostbusters Afterlife effect where
yeah,
Ghostbusters Afterlife is good. It's not as good as the original, but it's really good and it's fun to
yeah,
watch because of the modernization of film techniques. You
yeah,
know,
exactly.
like you get to see Ecto 1 peel out, in
Yeah,
that, and in this, in Beetlejuice, you get to see the world of the dead, kind of more fleshed out,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and it's just like you get more. But in Ghostbusters and in the original Beetlejuice, it's this nice contained story that doesn't necessarily need sequels, but
Right.
Ghostbusters does have a sequel, and Beetlejuice, down the
Yeah, it
road,
does. Yes.
Beetlejuice is more of a soft reboot than like a
Mhm.
direct sequel because of the difference in film techniques.
Right, right.
But yeah, there's just like this self-contained movie idea story in those style of movies that's just kind of quaint, you know?
Yeah.
Like you should be able to find a fucking poster of Beetlejuice at your Cracker Barrel because it's just that kind of like wholesome, you know?
Uh, so one of the things is like this has been here forever. And I have a lanyard that I have on my keys that is a Beetlejuice. It's so old and dirty that it's kind of like you can't hardly see it anymore.
Right.
But now everybody's like, "Oh, sweet, Beetlejuice thing." I'm like, "Fuck!" Now I need a new lanyard. Like, it was so quiet and chill to have liked Beetlejuice
Mm-hmm.
the way we do for so long, and now it's just that fucking. it's that thing now. It's
Yeah,
everybody loves Beetlejuice, and they always have. Just like everybody loved the Patriots in the early 2000s, and now everybody loves the Chiefs, and like it's just like the bandwagoning thing. And now I'm like, man, fuck.
give it time. You know how things work. Like everybody's like, oh,
But
Beetlejuice,
there's gonna
and
be
then
another one next year or the year
you never
after.
know. So it might
Well, you
bomb.
say his name three times.
Yeah, I know.
So Beetlejuice, 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 and now we're looking for
Oh,
Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice.
that would be great if like Tim Burton's like, yeah, I've decided not to make it. Something
Yeah.
like that, you know. But
I hope he hears my plea.
yeah,
Leave it alone, or
don't
just send
make
me a
it. Yeah.
copy. Just send me a copy so I have it.
Right, right. I don't know what else to really see. That's the problem when like a real good movie, like we're not good with real good movies.
Well, no,
We're good
so
with
but
okay
that's
good
what I
movies.
but think about this. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
There's no story to really be had in the original one because it's just Maitlands die, Deets move in. Maitlands don't want the Deets.
Maitland's bad
Beetlejuice.
ghost,
Right. And
you
then
know,
Beetlejuice.
then
And
Beetlejuice.
then this one, the new one, it's like fucking Pedo's dead. Astrid got her name right. Doesn't
Yeah.
like her mom. There's that dynamic. There's fucking Adelia and Lydia's dynamic. There's fucking Justin throws tool back. So there's a ton to keep you like just keep you going. Like, what's going on now? All right, cool. William Defoe. All right, cool. Danny DeVito. All right, cool. Like, there's just so much going on that there's never a dull moment. And this one, like, by the time they're learning to stretch their face, I'm just like it's like I'm like victim to the ADHD of I need something
At least you
constant.
called it and shit because I was getting ready to say all you're doing right now is just arguing a case of why I need to take my medicine during these movies and shit.
No, I mean, but like I love slow burn horror movies. But
Right.
in Beetlejuice, it's like the fanfare is over very quickly, and then it's just a normal story. But in the new one, there's so much going on that it's kind of like it's a thrill ride because there's so many different stories. Whether they go
Right.
anywhere or not, there's something always going on. There's no dead space. There's no reason for the Maitlands to be sitting there having a conversation on the dead for 10 minutes to Juno because uh there's too much else going on.
Okay.
Like the story like them like read the fucking book and let's move on. Like it's but and I can only say that because of the new one.
Right. You
Before that wasn't a thing that I would ever thought to say, but now that I know you can stuff a bunch of stuff in it, it's like it's like eating pizza and then going, "Oh, I discovered if you roll the crust in cheese, you can have something that's even more." And it's delicious and it's fun and it's awesome. And then you're like, "Do you want regular pizza?" And you're like, I do like regular pizza, but now that I know about cheese pizza, like cheese crust pizza, you know what I mean? Like it's like, why have a little when there's a lot?
because when you have too much, you get sick. And you get sick of it real fast.
I don't know, man. In 2 weeks, I've watched that shit 9 times.
Okay. I
Eventually,
mean
eventually, yes.
that's understandable, you know, but like
I guess
I
longevity, time will tell.
right. I understand where you're coming from, you
Mhm.
know,
It's
with
like if somebody says, "Do you want some Adderall or do you want some cocaine?"
right,
Like,
but you're going to the point in my brain of saying where like because Beetlejuice is new and you know I've been binge watching it just because like it's new and so this you know old and busted hot newness. You know, it's just that's old
yeah,
and busted.
it's not even that.
This is
It's
hot
just
newness, you know.
like, look, I've got an 80s Ford a truck sitting in my yard, and I've got a 2000s Ford sitting in my, like, I appreciate both
Right,
things,
right.
but the new one just has more to offer. And
Okay.
again, this isn't something that I could have had a complaint about before because I wasn't aware of it. You know what I mean? It's like cheese versus realizing you can melt cheese. It's like, you know what I mean? It's like
Give me
that
more
logic.
food
Like,
analogies here, Jacob.
yeah,
I'm
well, I
really
mean, I've
enjoying.
given you plenty
This
of
is kind of
analogies,
like
but
remember my Happy Meal awards and shit.
yeah, dude,
Fucking
you would just like make food conversation for no
yeah,
reason. But yeah,
yeah.
I don't know.
No,
Ate a salad. I'm not fulfilled, so I
I
got
understand where you're coming from. Of once more,
right.
hot newness, old and busted. You know where that's the original Beetlejuice. That quaint idea. It does it. Not a slow burn, but I understand that's for a different audience than this new style of Beetlejuice with the cinematography and with this, and because once more, it's new
Right.
and it comes fresh. It feels fresh,
Yeah.
where you put Beetlejuice, the original Beetlejuice on, all the lines, you scream them at the screen and stuff, fucking. And I was saying The Exorcist 167 times, and it keeps getting funnier every single time I've seen it. Not the
Mhm.
fact that you're talking to a dead guy.
Yeah.
Think I'm
Yeah, I
qualified?
guess yeah. I think that it's I don't know. It's really hard because
Yeah.
I don't want to make it seem like I don't like it or I I don't have the same amount of love for it because I
Right.
do. It's just that like also there's this other one that is also fantastic.
Right. Like we should
Um,
come back in a couple of months on this and like revisit like once you've stopped watching Beetlejuice and you haven't watched it in a couple of months
I'll
and you're like,
try.
what did happen in that movie? You know? And then you come back and you kind of like digest both movies and go, okay, where am I? What's really working here and what's not working there? What's better in the first one and what's better in the second one? Like that's where I'm coming.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I mean, to be fair, I haven't watched it in like a week now.
Right.
But I really did. I put it down like
Mhm.
that first week and a half.
Yeah.
Um,
So
but
did
yeah,
I.
I think that that's a yeah, I know. I remember you telling me. So
Yeah.
I think that that's a good idea. Like come back to it later and then now when it's settled down. I'll do my best not to watch it anymore.
Yeah.
Um, but
It's like you're in trouble.
yeah.
I'll do my best
No,
that
no,
not
no.
to watch it
I just want to
anymore.
like let him sit on it, but like it's already developed that comfort movie to me.
Right.
Like it's already developed a good time for me.
Yeah.
So just like the old one was like throw it on, go to sleep too kind of deal. This one is as well.
All right.
So yeah,
And
whatever.
that makes
Because I also
understandable sense.
watched when we decided to do the new one, I or the old one, I watched that one like 4 or 5 times.
Mm-hmm.
So like I could still put it on and enjoy it all the time.
All
It's
right.
just I see that there's a difference and I appreciate the difference
Right.
versus going
But on that note, Jacob,
another debate for another time.
if you could, would you go see this in the theater?
Absolutely, I
Fuck
fucked up.
yes.
I fucked up.
Fuck yes. You own a physical copy?
Yes, I do.
I own multiple physical copies. I have
Hmm?
VHSs and Blu-rays and DVDs.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I forgot we were doing the new one or the old one. Yeah, I
The
got a
old one.
bunch of them. I
Yeah.
got tons of different ones.
Is this a cult classic?
Was
I'll
again the
say, yeah,
popularity
that's
thing has taken over again. So
all right.
fuck you hipsters. Go back to liking something else.
Are there even hipsters out there anymore? Fucking, they're xenials. Fucking,
They just mutate and evolve.
no,
It's all
yeah,
hipster.
they've just been mutating. Fucking, would you recommend this to somebody
For
who's
sure, of
never seen
course.
it?
Yeah, of course.
Of
No,
course.
actually I wouldn't because I want to keep it to myself. I'd be like, you
That's
know what?
probably
Don't
the
waste your
best
time
idea.
on this piece of trash.
Yeah, Beetlejuice. Yeah, the new one's way better.
Yes.
Um,